Hello everyone. Let's clear something up. Networking in PR is not about collecting contacts, it's about building professional trust. And if you are a beginner, this part can feel a little intimidating. You might think, why would a journalist reply to me? Or I don't have big clients, or I am new, I don't know anyone here. But the truth is that you don't need status to build relationships in PR. What you need is relevance, consistency, and respect. Today, I'll show you exactly how beginners can start building journalist relationships the right way. The first part of this is the shift in the mindset or understanding that networking is not asking for coverage. Most beginners make one big mistake, that is, they treat networking as a shortcut to coverage. They usually think that if I build a relationship, they will publish my pitch. That's backwards. The real publishing is not transactional, or it's not manipulative, not urgent. It's about becoming a useful, reliable person in their orbit. Instead of asking, how do I get coverage? Ask that, how can I make their job easier over time? That shift changes everything. Start before you pitch. There are some of the steps that you need to follow before you actually start pitching, and this is actually the key. Do not introduce yourself for the first time with a pitch. Start smaller. You need to first observe before you contact anyone. Read their last 5 to 10 articles, notice recurring themes, understand their tone and interests. You can't build relationships without context. Step 2 is engage without asking. Begin with low pressure touch points like thoughtful LinkedIn comment on their article, share their piece and tag them, reply to a newsletter with genuine feedback, or congratulate them on a new role. There is no pitch, there is no ask, just relevance, and you're warming up the relationship. There is also a beginner friendly outreach formula, which is when you are ready to introduce yourself directly, you need to keep it simple. So, the structure that you can follow is something like this, which is you can start with the you can start with a subject that says enjoyed your recent piece on topic. You don't want to make it salesy or too pushy. Just keep it natural and genuine, and then say something like hey, then whatever the name of the journalist or the person is, then you say that hey, I've been following your coverage on then whatever theme that they are covering consistently. Your recent article on specific theme stood out because, and then provide your short feedback or insight. I work with industry or area, and if you ever need data or expert commentary on specific angle, I'd be happy to help. There's there's also an important line that you need to insert, that there's no pressure, just wanted to say I appreciate your work, which is like giving them the cue that you are not here to pressurize them, not here to sell them anything, not here to promote yourself, just wanted to appreciate your work with a slight and subtle touch of the networking proposal. So that's it. It's short, it's respectful, and it's useful. Next part is you need to understand what journalists actually value. Beginners often assume that journalists want flattery, long emails, big brand names, but that's all incorrect. What they really want is speed, accuracy, clear angles, reliable sources, where there is no fluff. If you can consistently provide quick responses, clear expert quotes, relevant insights, you become valuable to them, and that's natural. And value, once you become valuable to them, it also builds genuine relationships. Next part is to understand how to stay on their radar without being annoying. Here's a simple rhythm beginners can follow. Once every 1 to 2 months, you can share something relevant to their beat, send new data if genuinely adds value, or for commentary tied to a current news. Make sure that you do not check in randomly. It's just 1 to 2 months. And you also need to ask that if they saw your last email, because that's important. Push for updates. Silence does not mean dislike, it often means busy. So you need to also understand that part. Next is events, panels, and online communities. There are a lot of uh, panels or a lot of uh, things through which you can actually build your community. Because networking isn't only email, you can build relationships through various other mediums like industry webinars, Twitter, or LinkedIn discussions, in person panels, media networking events. And whenever you are doing any of this and you do meet a journalist at an event, don't pitch immediately. Have a normal conversation and then follow up the next day referencing the conversation. For example, you can say, hey, it was great chatting about the AI regulation panel yesterday. If you ever need founder commentary on early stage startups navigating compliance, I'm happy to help. Because context makes it natural. There are also certain mistakes that beginners must avoid, and it's not just about beginners, honestly. It's also about some of the pros PR people that often make this, because these are some of the common mistakes. And trust me, these mistakes are something that damages your relationships quickly, which is sending mass copy paste pitches, following up aggressively, guilt tripping, like just checking if you saw this, or pitching outside their beat, taking rejection personally. You need to understand that professionalism beats persistence every time, and that's what you need to follow. Next is that you need to play the long game. And here's what most beginners don't realize. The first 3 5 interactions may lead to nothing, and that's normal. Relationships compound over time. A journalist who ignores you today might respond in 6 months. Remember you during a deadline crunch, or reach out when they need expert input. PR is cumulative, not immediate. Here's simple structure you can follow to network or to create a network system. You need to identify, say, 15 to 20 journalists in your niche, then engage passively through comments, shares, or engaging with their posts on different social media platforms. Introduce yourself lightly, send value based pitches only when relevant, track interactions on a spreadsheet about which we have talked in one of the previous videos that you can go check out, and follow up thoughtfully, not emotionally. You also need to understand that system is always bigger than randomness, and this is something that we have already talked about when we were also talking about creating trackers, creating documents. And you don't need any fancy tool for that. You can just use simple Google Sheet, Google Doc, etc. to just maintain a tracking system. At its core, peer networking is something which you build, through which you build a reputation as relevant, reliable, respectful. Instead of being loud, aggressive, desperate, you just need to be consistent. If you are a beginner, don't focus on getting published tomorrow or today itself. Focus on becoming someone journalists are comfortable hearing from. And that's how relationships start. That's how long term PR careers are made. If you are starting out in PR, remember that you don't need connections to begin with. You build them eventually. One thoughtful interaction at a time is more than enough. So now you have all the information that you would need to set up a networking system within your PR niche. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.